Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be there and to be invited to the Porto Academy. This is the great opportunity for us. And it's also the first lecture for the office, so that's that's why I'm a little bit nervous right now. So it's not it's not really important. Anyway, at the beginning, I was supposed to come with Stephanie. She's my partner and also a kind of double of myself. But she cannot come, and then she apologizes. So the purpose of this lecture is probably at first to show some of the most important project in our point of view, just to express exactly what is, in a certain manner, architecture for us. I'm really sorry for my English is not really good, but I will try to be clear. And if it's not, you just have to watch the pictures, and I think it will be probably more, I don't know if it will be more interesting, but I hope it will be stronger than my words. The projects, there will be 5 projects I will show you, because we did not build so much. Anyway, the office is something like 7 years old, so it's not so much, but it's becoming a certain experience. This period was a great moment to experiment different manner to produce architecture. So I think in a certain manner, we're kind of people who produce a lot. We produce a lot of, I don't know if it's architecture, but we try to find a way just to design buildings. So these 5 projects explain how we try to build a current world where each scheme can be linked to the other, looking for innovation sometimes, but looking for at first a common basis for the same time. The idea is to produce useful, poetic and daily buildings, objects, offering maximum living condition for few means. I like this picture. It's somewhere in Greece, probably a building which never been finished. I like it because it doesn't speak about program. It doesn't speak about function. It's like empty building. You just feel probably what it could be, and this is maybe what the purpose that we are more interested in architecture, the potential of a building. It's probably also the structure and the manner to use it, how to imagine what you could do there. And it's probably, I think, something which is in a relation with freedom feeling. This is how to design a building where you can be free, or you can propose something, but where you don't try, or you don't have to constrain the use or the manner to build, to live in the building. So the question is probably at first how a building can absorb evolution of uses and offer reversibility of uses. So we want to offer space and structure configuration that can adapt to our current nervous, changing and unstable time. We simply want to oppose that the raw material of architect. That means sustainability and serenity. Though for us, architecture is sure not only a formal question, so sure we have to decide which form, how to do it, but probably it's more something about the relation between the drawing and the construction, how to mix them, how to combine them, and how to think during this construction process. just an interesting picture. I really like it also. So I will show you only pictures I love or I like. And this one is interesting also. Just this is the pictures from the first building, which I will show you later. So this one is the question of useful, how your building will live after it will be finished. We don't know exactly if a building can be finished. We think it's never finished. So, and we have to think in that manner, in that way. Just a building is never finished. It's just a step when you stop the construction, and then you have to think about the next steps, and you have to observe, and you have to understand exactly how your building is lived by the people. So this is more like the question of good conditions of living. What is good condition? What do you have to produce? What is the purpose of our production in architecture? So maybe this is the most important thing, is to think about the freedom feeling, rather than restricting uses. First project. So this is Sambles. So Sambles, this is a sport and cultural center, and the situation is really interesting. This is in the east part of Paris, so but it's inside of Paris. It's not a very big project. It's something like 1,000 square meters. But the situation is really incredible. It's a little bit amazing, just because it's an area which is made of very specific architecture. It's made with 80s architecture style, so it's very strange atmosphere, and there's a lot of people, and it's one of the densest districts of Europe, and it's mainly residential space, and also there's a lot of young people, and this is the youngest district of Paris. So it's very interesting areas, and this is also in Paris, so this is also the same district, and we are in Paris, so it's kind of, yeah, we could be somewhere else. And I like this idea. The city is made of so many different things, with that Porsches, with that strange floors, these urban spaces, with that kind of collage with Haussmannian buildings and new buildings, and with this school on the backside where it's written maternelle. So the atmosphere is very particular. It's a very strange city, but it's also Paris. And then the place, the site exactly for the construction of the building, is surrounded by a kind of built, how do you say, built belt, sorry, which is like an arena. So you have this big void just in the middle of this residential district, and then we had to think about a new public building there. So it was a competition, and we won the competition 4 years ago. And the first question was probably to find the right manner to settle the building in that place. How to find some relations with the buildings, with the existing buildings, and also with the void, because the void is probably the main resource of this district, and you have to find the right manner to keep it and to reveal it in that situation. That was really a very important thing. And you can see the buildings are a little bit strange. So, okay, they're made of different types, there are different styles, but also there's almost nothing on the ground floor. It's always fences, always walls or some, and there's no relation exactly with the public spaces. So it was a very important thing for the project. So this is the first goal, just to settle the building in this site. So we wanted to preserve the site resource, its emptiness. So we suggested a very compact building that extends vertically in the axis of the street. So this location, frees the building on the 4 sides and offer a new perspective inside the side block, which doesn't exist before. Compact, this is a very important word in our production. Becomes a kind of landmark in that district, a kind of link architecture that produced and succeeded at the end to link the different urban spaces of this area, which were very separated just before this building. So it was really the purpose. And also the relation between this building and the, also the existing building, and also with that gates, with that strange urban space there, nothing is really clear when you walk in that area. It's very confused. You never know exactly where the private and the public space is, where the boundaries between each of them. Just a section to explain exactly the organization of the building. So the project brings together in one volume the different functions of the building. So you have on the top of the building the circus art practice room. On the second floor you have the art rooms. So this is kind of multi-purpose rooms, just can be changed in the use, and they have to be able to accept or to receive different uses in this part of the building. And then the very large hall on the on the ground floor, with some music studios in the ground floors. So you probably remember the picture on the right side, but there it's just an extract from the book, which is named Introduction, that we published last year. And this is on the left page, the plan of the ground floor. I think it's very clear. I mean, it's very simple, just the organization. So you have a very simple and optimized system, a kind of serving core. So this is the main block on the left side, and you have also the structure, this beam pillar structure, and this is something which is coming back very soon for each project. How to succeed to create or to conceive a structure which is able to accept, to evolve in the future, or to accept different uses, and which give us, or to the inhabitants or to the users, a certain kind of freedom. Another picture we really like, it's that accident, or this strange meeting between a tree and wood. And the question of the structure, the question of the accident, the question of the alteration of a system, whatever the system, the structural system, but how to introduce something else, just how to mix different devices, how to mix different manner to build to. So it's a kind of reflection about, our point of view about the manner to imagine architecture and what is also architecture. We wanted to show you some, the purpose is more or less the structure. The structure like the first element of composition. And so you have this very interesting step. So sometimes we'd like to propose to the client to stop the construction, just to stay like this, because yeah, that's more or less what we are trying to do, just to build a kind of device which is never stopped. And we try to find for each project what is the right moment to stop to design, what is the right moment to stop to just to, how to explain? We try to take off all the coquetries, yeah, coquetries, I like the name. Coquet, okay, I don't know if someone know the name, but it's a nice word. You have to take off that kind of things. What is essential in architecture? What is essential in a building? In my point of view, I mean, with Stephanie, this is exactly these pictures. They just express exactly what we are looking for, little by doing architecture. Just so. Also, this one was really funny because the photographer came, and there's no facade, but we have the lights. So I like this atmosphere. This picture is probably a relationship with the tree. We saw just some pictures before. Just this meeting between a wall and a beam and a floor, and this is what I like. So the relation with the site and that collage of buildings. And in that situation, we have also the building need skin or a kind of facade. And this picture is interesting, or just the idea with the client was to say, okay, we don't know so much about the skin, so we just have to build it before to build the building. So we were lucky to build this ouvrage, this piece of the facade, so it's the true size, so it's something like 20 meters, and it's made exactly as it was at the end, so you can feel each program, so each facade corresponds to a program, and you have a kind of sticked building, and where each program has its own facade. So the question of the composition, so the relation between each components of the building. So we try to keep each element free from the other one. It's a kind of, each component is totally free. So we just have to organize and to find the right way, just to combine, just to find the logical means to associate each of them. This picture is, okay, another point of view just with the skin of the building. And yeah, you can feel, I think our buildings are very easy to understand. I mean, for example, the map is made of columns and just a core, and that's all. And then you have a kind of skin, and each of them express a program. I mean, it's done specifically for the program. So it's very, I think, it's very simple expression and manner to feel the building. So inside, so you can see that probably this ambiguity between what's going on outside and inside, and that's what we are trying to do with glasses. This is very important material in our work. So we just think about, I mean, we think about a lot about the ambiguity. Probably we would like to live buildings like as if we were outside. Also, techniques. I mean, all the pipelines and things like this, the lights, all the very trivial things are there, and we have to compose with them. Nothing is hidden. You can see everything, and this is also a very important thing. We try to do architecture with each element, each component. We just have to try to think about the manner to make the combination each of them. So I don't know what I can tell you more about this, but this is always the same space. So this is the ground floor, the connection with outside, this relation with this square, which does not exist before. It was just the manner to settle the building on the side. The first floor with this, I really like this this glass. So it's a kind of textured glass, and then it's the same glass for that floor, and it's like it's like an abstraction. It's like a painting, maybe more. You can feel the environment, but you don't know exactly what's going on. It's like, so everything looks like very precise in the relation between the structure and the skin or the glass. So it's like a corridor. I don't know if it's exactly a corridor, but it's very lighted space. So the main space of this project is on the top of the building. So it's a art circus room. So it's to practice circus art, but also to practice different sport also. So this space is very clear to analyze maybe, and very explicit in a certain manner. Each elements are very clear. The structural one, the walls, everything is separated and is in a certain manner autonomous, and that's what we tried in this building, because this one was the second one we did. And you can see the three arches which open on the sky, and with these different materials. So sometimes it's raw materiality, and it's very cru or raw. It's not me. So the building is down, finished for 1 year now. And we still continue to just try to understand exactly what's going on there, how the people use the building, how it's living, how they live the building, and what's going on. And that's really a very interesting experience, and probably we would like to do a book about this, because we like to translate these things with the publications. And just about the manner to use, because maybe this is the main purpose of architecture, maybe the main goal is what will going on in the building. And I really like, so we started to do some pictures of the people who use, so now it's only, this is some boxes, so I don't have, it's not only cirque, but this is a really important thing. So we try to do this exercise, or just this analyze about what's going on between the conception, the end of the construction, and then how the people use the building. And this is, for us, really the question of use as useful. And okay, maybe I don't care if the building is nice or not. It's important anyway, but it's more important for me. The question is really how the building is used, and this is the main purpose for us. So the question about when the building is finished is also a very important thing. So probably now we'd like to finish the building before the end of the construction. Just like this, so it was before the end, so we don't have floors, but the pictures are very strong. I mean, we like to keep it like this sometimes, but okay, for now we didn't succeed to do it. because the clients were not really happy with this. But it's a very important question in our job every day, to know when we have to design something and when we have to stop, and just, yeah, it's just a question when it's starting architecture and when it's stopped. There, we also, the client, so this is a town hall of, so this is Paris anyway. So they said, okay, so that could be great if you choose the furnitures for this building. So we were really happy because we never did this before. And then we said, but maybe it would be better to draw them and to build them, and say, okay, let's go. And then that's what we did. And that was really an interesting exercise, because the idea was to do like the building and just to make some mixed between construction materials and some, for example, there's some tatamis, carpet, and just to build a kind of, yeah, just to imagine how to put some furnitures, how to use the building at the end. So it was really interesting thing. So the relation between what is building and what is maybe not building. So the between furniture and building, and what is moving and what is not moving. Short project, just to express probably what is the purpose, because maybe my words are not exactly clear for about the goal of the office. This is a competition we did 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was in Helsinki, for the Helsinki Central Libraries. And it's funny, we really like to do that kind of competition, even if there's a lot of people, but it's a matter to think and to be maybe freer to design a building. And then, but we succeeded there to win a prize, but I don't remember which one exactly. But we didn't win anything except an honorable prize. And then the purpose for us was not to build or to conceive a building or to design a building, but to think about a container, like not the container that you can find in the ports, but like something which contain another thing. So the idea was just to imagine a device, a kind of system where you can change everything. And the purpose, in a certain manner, is the question of indeterminate device, how to fix, how to design indeterminate spaces. So this is very important. I don't know if the project is important, it is for us, but this is what we tried to do. And this is the, yeah, just to show some pictures of the building. This is the last level of the building. So this is the library, and we had some other programs in the building, but this is a kind of, yeah, maybe open space, but made with trees and made with some, yeah, landscape. So just always this kind of research of ambiguity. Third project, come back to Paris. So we won this project 2 years ago, and we're starting the construction of it. So this is in the south of Paris, but inside Paris. It's, yeah, maybe it's strange for you, but you have to precise when you live in Paris. You always thinking about what is inside and what is not. And then this one is in Paris. So the place is really nice. This is in the south of Paris. This is a kind of very large campus. We don't have so many campus for students in Paris, but we have a very nice one in the south. So it's a very funny place. So for me it's not Paris, but this is a picture from the park. So it's very nice place. You could be in England probably more, but we are just near the ring road. So the site is just in between these two urban situations. So a lot of noise and a lot of trees, and that was really the main problem to solve. So it's a residence for researchers. It's something like 100 housing units. And we had to find one more time. It's always our favorite question: how to put the building, how to settle the building on the side. So we tried so many different things, and at the end, it was like kind of a square where you can make the difference between the rooms and the distribution of the building. I mean, I speak about the staircase, the lift, and then you have two open spaces. So this is two wings where you have the where you have the units, and in the middle of the building you have all the distribution. So the map is very simple, and on the ground floor you have the common spaces, a kind of small library, but it's just a box with a different geometry. So you feel each element. So the first structure is made of steel, and then for the all other level, this is a concrete structure. Then a playground, because we tried to propose some other programs. So because they were only housing units, and we said maybe your students would like to share some things, would like to share some spaces. So we proposed that kind of playground on the first level, and fitness on the top of the building. So this is the plan, and so it's a very repetitive situation. So you have all that units, and the purpose was also to have very small units. It's something like 25 square meters, but with two orientation, and not to have everything in one room: the kitchen, your bedroom, your desk, your bureau, your everything in one place. So we tried to find a manner to moving the bathroom to have another room with the kitchen, which have also light. So it's a kind of, how to explain this, skeleton building, and you have the skeleton and you have the facade, and this is just these two elements which give the identification of the building. This one is interesting. This is just a part of the facade for each unit, and in this situation, I think the window is wall, and that's a very important thing also for us. So the next project, this is the fourth one. We just almost finished, it's not exactly finished, and the pictures was made just before the end of the construction. So it's another experiment, maybe another manner to, you try to go farther. If you compare this project to the other one, I don't know what to think exactly about the result, about this building. It's a little bit strange, even for me. But I think we succeeded to do it in a very strong condition. For example, it's the double size. This project is the double size of the first one of Saint-Blaise, but it's the same price. So this one is very cheap building, and we had to build it in 9 months. So it was a very short time to study, the building, so short time to design it and very short time to build it. So it was a very interesting story, just because everything has to be fast, and that's, yeah, I think that's for us really better than a project which takes so long time sometimes. So we are in Normandy. So Normandy is on the west part of Paris, so it's very near from the sea. It's something like 5 or 10 kilometers from the sea. And the situation, oops, sorry. So you have there, we are right there. So so the rail line is just the plot, and just in front this you have this very interesting peninsula. It's an island. It's really in the center of Caen. It was factories before, and then from 20 years nothing happened there. So they decided to build some public buildings without any master plan. So that's really interesting. So decided to build at first a building, a public building. This is the cross from Remkulas. So it's a library, and it's not a big building, but yeah, quite big for Caen. And the low building, which is this square. But there's no, right now there's no master plan. So they just put the building in an empty space on this island, and then after they decided to ask Devine to come and to imagine what could be the floor, I mean, what could be this empty space. So we are this building, so it's science center. It's for the teenagers. It's to promote in a certain manner science in Normandy. So it's something like 2,500 square meters for, if I remember, for, okay, I don't remember exactly the price, but anyway, it's not so important. I will try to remember later. So one more time, the purpose was to find the manner to put the building in the site, because we have a concert hall, the green building down, and also a design school, and everything is very closed, there's no place. And so we had a lot of difficulties to find exactly the right manner to settle the building and the project. Then I did not speak about the program. So it's a science center, and it's made of conference space, fab lab, sorry. It's kind of mini factories in the building to build your own prototypes. If you want to build something, you can go there, and you have several machines to build, to transform some 3D printers, so many different things, but you can build your own furnitures, for example. So the idea is just to connect people, and so this is more or less an association with the owner of the building. The idea is to make some connection between engineers, between young people, between citizens, and just to share a certain manner, or just a science culture. So it's very, the typology on the program was really interesting, just because there's nothing else right now. Okay, we have in Paris La Cité des Sciences, but it's so huge, and this is another manner to think about, to promote science there. So everything was very closed, I mean, very small everywhere. Then we propose for the competition 2 other elements of program. We propose a public space. So this is the first space on the ground floor. So it's something like 6 meters. For the measurement, each level is more or less 6 meters. And then we propose also a kind of roof event. So this is this strange dome, just because the association to the client have some economical or financial problems, because he have this building and he has to think how to win some money with this building. So we said, okay, so probably you have to find a manner to rent each part of your building. The building can be closed, but you can rent the last one. But we just have to think about the manner to deserve the building. So these two elements were very important, just because now it's a kind of belvedere, it's a kind of point of view to watch the city of Caen. So it's very interesting because there's no very high building in Caen. So inside it's only open spaces, more or less. Some floors are different. The structure is made of steel and concrete for the blocks, and yeah, it's very naked building or naked inside situations. The second floor is made with the Fab Lab. This is the places where the people can build something. And yeah, so the idea is just to think how to change the use all the time. Is it possible to change it? The main problem was probably the firemen. There's very interesting sentence from Christian Auvet, is a French architect, and he said the first architect in France is the fireman. Is the first architect just because he decides so many things in architecture, and then in that project we have to speak so much with the fireman just to explain how does it work and how we could respect the rule, but by changing the rule sometimes. So it was a very long process, a very long device to convince the client, the firemen, the engineers, and all of them just to succeed to find the technical means to solve this question of flexibility. Because for each use, you have a very specific rules. And then it's becoming a very technical approach. So you have to control and you have to find really the means to reach the goal. So this is another level where you have the offices, but okay, this is always the same level, more or less. You just change the height. And so this is the map, this is the plan, always the same. And so the square in the middle, it's more or less 500 square meters. There's no column. That was the purpose, how to create an open space without any columns. So we succeeded to do it, and because everything is supported by the 4 blocks which are around the building in the periphery. So all the servant spaces, the staircase, the elevator, the sanitary, the storages, everything is outside, and then we have this very large open space. And just the purpose, just the idea to produce that kind of open space. The idea was to imagine, okay, we could practice sport also there. So we could use it like storage, and we can have a concert, you can have what you want. So that was really what we tried to, not to imagine. This is not imagination, it's just to fixed with the different technical means. So just a view from the stairs. So the idea was also to find a manner to make in connection each part of the buildings. The other stairs, which is like a lighthouse. The top of these stairs, that was also a very interesting thing, because we never get time to work with the stairs, just to imagine something interesting in the walk in a stair. The relation with the floor, which is not finished there. And then, this is the client. They like that kind of machine. It's called to the top. I mean, just to bring, to do some electrical intervention and in the electrical, with the electrical cables. I don't know the name anyway. So they have this very nice machine, and they like to do this. So they are preparing something for an exhibition. And so in the backside, you see the crossing building from Oma. And that's also, I forgot to speak about this, but it's very funny because each building have the same first level. And this is something like 6 meters from the ground. And there's a very interesting visual relation between each building. When you are on the other side, you have some kind of correspondent point of view. The window. Okay, this strange material that we never used before, and probably we will try to use it one more time. It's just a little bit complicated when you don't have the right company to do it. But this is, I don't know the name in English, but ETFE, yeah, that's right. So you can feel it in the pictures, and this is a very interesting skin, because I suppose like everywhere in Europe you have to respect thermical rules, and that's not so easy to build right now. Very transparent buildings, glasses buildings, it's always a fight with everybody because the engineers say, no, it's not possible, you cannot, you have to put some walls. And it's, okay, so, and using this material was really interesting just because it's, yeah, we had the goal was to respect the chemical rules. And then it's down, probably, I think we can see it, it's made of 4 leaves. And sometimes it's very transparent, sometimes it's not, just because of the orientation of the sun. And so now we have a kind of lighthouse in Caen, just in this very large empty space. And people, I mean, the building will be open in September. I mean, the public can come in September just to use the building, and we don't know what's going on there, but we are very curious to know more about how the people will appropriate this building. So this is the last level, or just the last, I mean the roof, so the famous roof even. So you can do what you want there. It can be a cafe, it can be a concert space, whatever. We succeeded little by little to find the means to satisfy every fireman rules, because it's not so easy to have one space for several uses. And so during the night. So in conclusion, I don't remember the conclusion. So this is more or less what we are trying to do. It's always the same question about what is architecture, where does it start, where does it finish. We don't have any strong answer about this question, because I think we're not very theoretic people. We just experiment the things and we just try to control the situation. I mean, just to find a way in that manner to conceive the buildings, working with the typology, with the morphology, blah, blah, blah. So, but I think we are looking for something which is kind of, nudity. And just, it's always a question about what is architecture in relation. This is the relation between the structure and the use of the building. It's always the same question, how to keep kind of free building, how to not to constrain the use in the building. So it's a kind of, we said destitution is a beautiful conceptual conclusion. So yeah, I like this one. And I think architecture, so I have to read it because there's something which is a little bit complicated for me. Architecture is what is left when we got rid of the superfluous things. Thanks.